I know we're in the middle of spooky season, but Neva is a game I've been looking forward to since it was announced. I fell in love with Nomada Studios' first game, Gris, and was wondering how they were going to follow it up and what their next step would be in evolving their formula. As always, these are my opinions and my thoughts on the game. If you have your own, that's what the comment section is for. Where I place Neva in my ratings is up and I love it, but it's kind of on the lower end of that section. It doesn't rank up near the top with stuff like I Am Your Beast, but I still love the game for what it is. While I did really enjoy Neva, there are some parts of the game that I think were done competently, but not fantastic. And there are little annoyances that I found throughout the game. There was nothing that I found outright horrible or even that bad though. I went into Neva knowing the kind of art style that Nomada Studio can do, and that's what I looked forward to the most. The watercolor art style they used is fucking fantastic and beautiful. I love the way they used watercolor for the backgrounds and environments while maintaining a more crisp and sharp style for the characters so they would be separated from the background. For mechanics, I really liked Neva's platforming. I thought it was really well done and has a lot of variety in the platforming sections. You have your basic platforming, but then a lot of the areas add in a different element. There's stuff like having to time hitting something with Neva's attack to trigger its timer, where you have to jump to multiple platforms to get to where you need to go. There's also things like the Mirror World section near the end of the game that I really liked. But the game doesn't overuse these mechanics. They're there for most of like that part that you're in, but then they don't really appear again. And it's kind of nice that they don't, just make you redo those mechanics every single level. They introduce new stuff while kind of just leaving the old stuff in its own section. The platforming section that I love the most in the game, but the one that also fucked with my head a lot, was the mirror section. I got confused multiple times in that section, and I fell a few times during it. But I thought it was like a really inventive area, and I'd love to do more of that type of platforming. There is a nitpick with the platforming that I have that it doesn't ruin the game, but it does make it kind of annoying sometimes. And that is, you have a lot of this time where something is blocking the screen so you can't see your character. Sometimes it is, you're in a cave and there's pillars and you're looking in between the pillars as you're moving the character left or right. Sometimes it's like this mist in one of the areas that is just blocking the ground so you can barely see your character a lot. Or if you're climbing something really high, you have clouds getting in the way so you can't really see your character then. And personally, it is a nitpick for me. I just don't like stuff that blocks the camera when you're playing a game that has a lot of platforming. Just a small nitpick there. And compared to Neva's platforming, its combat, while I liked it, it felt kind of bland mechanically. Combat in Neva consists of a dodge, a jump, and 2 possible attacks. One that launches Neva, the wolf cub, at the enemy to stun and damage them, and the other is your basic 3-attack combo. You don't get the Neva attack until like halfway through the game, which makes sense in the context of the story where you're kind of like the two of you are meshing better and like you're able to work together easier. So I kind of get that, but before that, just having the 3-attack combo is kind of boring. I do have another nitpick when it comes to combat, and that is how far the camera zooms out sometimes. When the arena is like pretty big, your character and the enemies take up like barely any space at the bottom of the screen. You can still see your character and stuff moving around, but it's pretty small. Like that's just a nitpick that I have. I would like, use screen real estate better and zoom in a little bit would be nice, but that's my own nitpick. And like I said, I think combat is bland, but I don't think it's bad. Like the Neva element makes it slightly more interesting once you get it, but I don't think combat is Nomada's strong suit. What I think their strong suit is, though, other than a very strong visual style, is telling stories through visuals, through the character's body language and their facial expressions, not their voice. Like, you can tell what the character is thinking all the time just by their facial expression and their body language. The story is all about your character taking care of and protecting the wolf cub Neva as they grow up through the seasons, along with the kind of undercurrent of either environmentalism or like the cycle of life. And while I like the story and how Nomada told it, I felt it was kind of rushed. I would have liked to see more downtime moments to build the connection between your character and Neva more. I think it would have hit emotionally harder for me if they had done that. And I felt like, a connection to the character and to the wolf. Or, other people I think have felt that, but maybe I'm just, emotionally bankrupt and can't really feel anything anymore because of the hellscape that is work. But who knows? So I did really enjoy Neva, but it sits pretty low in my I love it category because the platforming and visuals, which are a major part of the game, were excellent, but the combat wasn't really interesting, and the story, while being told in a very interesting way, didn't really get me to care about the characters that much during the short runtime of the game, which is probably just a personal thing. But those are my thoughts on Neva. If you enjoyed the video, please do all the algorithm stuff and tell me what your thoughts on Neva are. If you liked it or hated it, or if you cried at any time while playing it. I know this is coming out during spooky season, but I've really been looking forward to this game since it was announced, and I wanted to play it and make a video on it. But that is going to be it for this video. I hope you have a royal day or night, and I will talk to you later.